Hi everyone. Today in this video we're going to talk about whether that conversation is a contribution to you. Now, first of all, that might sound very selfish if it's a contribution to you or not, but please remember, if it's a contribution to you, then it's definitely a contribution to who you're talking to because both people receive. So, for example, teachers, when they're teaching, it is a contribution for them to teach because the more they teach, the more awareness and education and that they want to learn, so they have that much more to share. And the students get to receive from that conversation because they get to learn something new. So just kind of keep that in the back of your mind as we go through this video. So one of the things that I've been very aware of lately in my own world is conversations that aren't a contribution. And what do I mean by that? I mean conversations where someone is really talking at you, not with you, or they're making statements, but they're about issues or stuff that's going wrong in the world, but they're not asking questions. People who are just kind of showing up but not participating, so you end up doing all the talking, so there's no real gift and receive, there's no back and forth so that both people win. Useless meetings that don't relate, that kind of thing. So let me give you an example. An example would be, especially for business owners, there's a lot of times, like I receive multiple touch points from outside people every day through social media, email, phone calls, that kind of stuff, of people who want to meet about joint venture partnerships. And I am very careful and diligent about checking out who they are before I meet with them. Are they a go-getter? Do they walk their talk? Do they do what they say they're going to do? Or do they make a lot of false promises and never follow up? Because if that's kind of who they are and what they be, then that is not a conversation that would be a contribution to me. That would be a waste of my time. And that hour or 2 hours, depending on how the conversation goes, could be better used creating, generating, contributing to people who could receive, working with clients, working with my team, creating new programs, that kind of stuff would be a better use of my time than listening to someone who doesn't know what they're doing or isn't prepared or doesn't do follow-ups, that kind of thing. If people reach out and want to have a conversation with you and they do something that is not related to your business, or it could be something that could benefit your business but not at this time, I will let people know that. And sometimes people get a little niggly and they do a bit of a pushback, and I pay attention to that because depending on how they react when I give them a no will also determine if it will ever become a yes. So let me give you an example. A couple months ago, I was out searching for someone to assist me with social media, and I was working with a gentleman I'd been chatting with a gentleman, who was very slick. Definitely was a master in his arena, absolutely, 100%. But what I kept trying to explain to him what my company required and what I was looking for, and it was like I wasn't talking, and he kept kind of, he was so in tune with his script that he just kept going like a freight train. He wasn't paying attention, and he started clicking things and putting things together, and I go, this doesn't work for my company. Here are the 3 reasons why. This is where my client base is. This is how my customers receive. And what you're trying to do here does not work. And then, my budget was about $1,000. He wanted $3,000 plus his fees. And I said, sorry, that doesn't work for me. And then he automatically went into scripting of, well, you're preventing your company from growing, and this is this, and this is that. And I'm like, but you're not listening at all. So by the time I spent an hour with him and hung up the phone, I was mad. I was mad that I hadn't been heard. I was mad that he figured I should just give him all this money, but yet right out of the gates, he wasn't providing me with the support I needed or the information that I needed. And then I had to spend time to de-anger myself. So that ended up being a 90 minutes of something that wasn't a contribution to me. Now, the blessing in that, because there's always a learning, is that now if I start a conversation with someone and they're not listening, I walk away. I will say, sorry, you know what, this doesn't work for me. And I physically walk away, or I hang up the phone, or I escort them to the front door so that I don't have to listen to the scripting. I don't have to listen to the excuses because I know it's not a contribution. If I've done my due diligence and for example, someone comes to me and they want me to do sports therapy, it's not what we do here. There's no point in having the conversation. If someone applies here and they want to do sports therapy and it's not what we offer here, we don't bother to interview because it won't be a contribution to either party. I'm not willing to learn all of that, market that, and everything else for something sports are great, but it's not something I'm interested in offering. So again, and this can play into family conversations. Where does someone want to talk at you about a family issue, but not ask questions, not brainstorm, and you will spend hours on the phone with them? That's just a no. Friendships, is it truly a gift and receive friendship, or is it one person who only comes to you when they have an issue or they want something, or every time you want to talk about possibilities, they slide into their old patterns of, well, my husband's doing this, brah, 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 but they never choose anything different with the husband, and it just kind of, falls apart. It's the same routine. That's another 30, 40, 50, 60 minutes wasted again, so it is not a contribution. Listening to someone cry about the same problems over and over again is not a contribution. So if you start paying attention, and meetings are not a contribution to you at work, you can ask a bunch of questions and then have a conversation about and be very clear about why it's not a contribution, so that you don't have to spend that hour. You can spend it being more productive. If someone wants to have coffee with you and they want to discuss something, get very crisp and clear, really ask yourself, trust your intuition, is this a contribution, yes or no? If it's a no, then walk away. All of those kinds of things will assist you in gaining more time. That's really what we all want. We want more time. We want quality time. And if you learn how to really work with what's a contribution to me, what is not a contribution, and being okay with the no's, because they will find someone else to spend that hour with, then you will be able to create, generate, and have more time and be able to go and play. So, truth, is this video a contribution to you? Well, sure as the heck hope so. Cheers.